Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to show you this badass engine. This is the Sirio S12. This was the engine that won the World Championship, the IFMAR World Championship in Brazil, 200mm touring car. 8 out of the top 10 positions were running this engine in this car combo over here. This is the Kyosho V1 RRR. And so anyway, this is the one I put the brand new Nova Rossi that I'm still breaking in, the 353 race 12. And this is the factory team driver modified. So I'm really excited about getting that thing broken in. Anyway, I wanted to show you this badass engine and, you know, talk a little bit about it. But I want to tell you that if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because I like to break down engines and stuff like this. So if you're into nitros and stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe for me, man, and go ahead and hit the thumbs up too. That'd be great. And join in the chat, man. I really enjoy all the folks who comment and stuff like that. And if you know anything about these engines or anything else like that, go ahead and put that in the comments too. That'd be great. If you've ever run any of these things, or you know, that'd be cool, man. So what I was curious was if this was supposed to be like a low compression engine, or if this thing's just really worn out. I checked the rod bearing and everything else, and you know, the rod clearance, all that crap. I'll show you all that here in a second. And it was really good. The only thing is that there's no compression in this engine. So somebody ran the hell out of it and then just cleaned it up. I'll show you. See that? Oh yeah. So anyway, we'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, this here, let me show you this real quick. Let me turn on my computer. So oh yeah, I wanted to say that finally Nitro Talk with Todd responded, and that dude's not dead, so thank God, man. He said he just needed a little bit of time off. But anyway, that's Adrian Bertine right there. That's when he won the World Championship in 2004, and that's when he was using the Kyosho V1 RRR with the Sirio engine. See, he's got that Sirio hat on there. And that's Shimo. And 8 out of the top 10 drivers were using the Kyosho V1 RRR with the Sirio engines. And they're going to say that here in a second. And they'll show, like, you know, all the drivers and their cars and stuff. Double click it. Oh yeah, that's the guy right there. RaywoodRCvideos.com, man. He's got a channel here too, man. If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. He's got some great stuff. RaywoodRC Videos. And you can see it's got 10,000 views. It came out 6 years ago. It's a really good channel, man. He puts out all the old school championships and everything else. So let me show you this real quick. So Shimo, I think, got second or third place or something like that. Oh yeah, here we go. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is right here. Okay, look. So Adrian Bertine, that was the guy we just saw, and he was running the Kyosho. Yeah, Shimo came in second. See that? And then Josh Cyril, he's another one of these badass racers. He was also racing the Kyosho with the Cyril. So Josh Cyril is the one that did the Wasp engine that I have. This one over here. And yeah, just look at that. The only other two that were in here were a Serpent and from Michael Savin, and a Mega engine. There's one more Serpent right there, Mark Green. They were both on Team Serpent. But all the rest were Kyoshos and Sirio engines. And anyway, I'll show you that Josh Cyril, because I got one of his engines, a Josh Cyril spec. This one right here. That's it right there. This thing is so badass, man. I couldn't believe how badass this thing is. So anyway, that's in the Mugen MTX4R, that one up there. That's that engine right there. But anyway, I did a video on that one before, but I want to show you this engine in this video. And so let's check this thing out, man. Let me put the camera down. See if we can zoom in. Oh yeah, here we go. That's much better. Look at that. Let me turn on the light, see if that helps at all. That's a little better. Yeah, so let me stop jacking with the camera so we can start zooming in on this stuff here. Check out the piston first. You can see it's a machined piston. It's been cleaned really, really well. Except all that lint and stuff that I got on it. But I found this little bit of corrosion where the pin is on one side. I'll show you that here in a second. You can see how well that piston has been machined. Yeah, look at that green crusty booger thing in there, man. Let me turn down the zoom a little bit because it seems to be kind of grainy. So we can get a better view, hopefully. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you can see there's a little bit of wear there on the piston. Some discoloration towards the top. If you can finally take your eye away from that green booger, that thing's crazy looking. I'll have to clean that out of there. The rod looks like it's in pretty good shape. The bearing, or the bushing, was also in really good shape. There wasn't a lot of play in there at all on the rod. You can see the little oil passageway in there. If I stop moving it. And then it goes up to right there, or on the other side, sorry. Yeah. So I want to clean this little piston again before I assemble it, but I was thinking about doing the Nitro Talk with Todd repinch, where you just use a hose clamp. Either that or sending it off, but I'd rather just do it myself, to be honest. And see how it works, you know, just take it little by little. And so first I want to measure, you know, how much clearance I've got in here before it goes like to the top. So for instance, see, I can get like the piston up to there. Sorry, I wasn't even in the camera. Yeah, see, so I can get the piston up to there, which is about, I guess, where, yeah, it gets really tight right about there. So anyway, when it's in, you can see there's a little bit of oil on there, so it's not dry. But anyway, when it's in the engine, it feels like you can turn it over really easy. So it seems a little deceptive that, you know, that the pinch would start right about there or whatever, but I thought it would go like all the way to the top freely, but it really doesn't. So anyway, I'd like to measure that distance so I can get a starting point. So the distance from the top of the piston to the top of the sleeve. So I can get a starting point of, you know, where the pinch basically starts. And so I know how much I need to compress it or whatever, or pinch it. So when I do pinch it or repinch it, I know like the pinch will start further down, for instance, which would theoretically give me more compression in the end. So anyway, I was thinking about trying that. This is the intake side, and that's the exhaust. Okay. Let me make sure I got the piston in the right way. Oh, I got it backwards. That goes this way, sorry. Yeah, so that green booger was, I guess, exposed to the elements from the exhaust port, and that's how it got corroded in there. I'll have to clean that out. I'm going to soak it in some chem tool, B12 chem tool. Yeah, so you can see that's about as far as I can get it. That little oil ring right there. That's about as far as I can get it there. I mean, before it gets like too tight to where I don't, you know, want to push it any further. But in any event, it looks like that is the top of the stroke. Because if I try and go a little bit further, you can see how the bottom of the piston skirt is there. And yeah, so the bottom, you can see how it changes color right there. So the bottom of the skirt, so that's as far as it travels in the stroke. You can see it's actually quite large combustion chamber. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think the bottom of the skirt is supposed to go beyond the bottom of the port, exhaust port there. But anyway, like you can see the exhaust port there, and it doesn't have all the things like your typical like Nova Rossi and stuff like that. So it doesn't seem like, you wouldn't think it'd be such a badass performer and win like the world championship 8 out of the 10 cars, but evidently it did back in 2004. So it makes me wonder, oh yeah, look, you can see how the bypass transfer ports right there are all the way open basically with the bottom of the piston on the front side, on the intake side. So you can see like that's probably definitely the top, just a little bit more. That's definitely the top of the stroke of the piston. But the piston is actually extremely well manufactured. You can see that. Extremely well machined. All the little grooves and everything else. And whoever had it before, I guess ran the shit out of it or something. And I guess killed it, I don't know. Because you can see how it's clearly been discolored from the heat and from running it. But they just cleaned it all up. And they cleaned off all the corrosion on the piston and stuff to make it look new, but it really needs a new repinch. So I think I'll just redo it myself, put a little hose clamp on there if I can fit it on, and I don't know, heat it up just like Nitro Chocolate Todd did, and then throw it in some cold water. So anyway, you can see how the intake side right there is all ramped up, which is nice. Transfer ports are also ramped up and sloped towards the front. The exhaust isn't. It is a little bit. Yeah, you can see that there. It's got a bunch of lint and shit in there from the carpet. So I've had this engine sitting out a few days, or I took it apart last night, or maybe the night before. I never made the video. I got tired and fell asleep. So that's why there's all kinds of lint on it, but I'll clean it all up after I repinch it. That'll be an interesting thing, just to repinch it yourself, So anyway, let's take a look at the back plate. That thing's pretty cool too. You can see how it's been recessed there on this side and that side, and then for the piston, for the transfer ports or whatever, so the air, which also helps significantly the amount of horsepower I presume it makes. Wasn't able to find any specs, not that I really looked for the engine, but I remember looking before and finding some specs, so maybe I'll have to look that up. I just wanted to take a look at the engine for the most part. Just tear it down and check it out. So that was the back plate. It's pretty cool. This company, Sirio, is manufactured by the same folks that make the Nova Rossi and the RB Concepts and stuff like that. So they use the same machines, Nova, all those badass engines. So it's an Italian manufacturer. Let's check out the block real quick. Here's the block. You can see inside transfer ports in there. Pretty big. Get that length out of there. You can see how big they are, man. Let all that air in there. Oh yeah, and then that exhaust port there is all transferred down. You see how it's still dirty in here. That needs to be cleaned out. There's a boost port for the front. You can see that huge passageway for this .12, which is awesome. The other two engines that won the world championship were the Serpent powered Nova Mega engines, and I've got one right here, as a matter of fact. That engine there, that's the X15, the CX15 Nova, and it came in the what's it called? The Serpent Impact, I believe it was. But this is the Serpent Vector, and it's also got a Mega pipe on there, a Nova Mega pipe, which is also badass. But that was the other contender. But that was a 235mm class, and anyway. And this one over here is a 200. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so there's completely different cars, but I'm just using this one as an example. This is a 8 scale, but that engine went in a 110 scale 235mm I've got one. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Like right there. That's a 235mm pan car style. So I got to change that body out and the wheels and tires and stuff. But you can see how it had those quick clips, and it was designed by Michael Savin. This one's actually a Mugen. This whole class was designed by Michael Savin of Serpent. But anyway, a little off topic. Check out the block real quick. Yeah, you can see the crank there, and it doesn't have like the normal, well, it does have a little knife edge there that you would typically see, but you know, typically you would see how when they port modify them, they have like that large like little fang coming down or whatever, going out like down in this way, like a backwards comma or something. But you can see how back in 2004, I guess they weren't doing engines like that yet. So I wonder if this engine modified would be even better. I bet it would be. Looks like some of the material on the inside is starting to come off. You see how that silver in there, or maybe looks like a chunk of metal might be gone or something. Way up in there, you see that? Right there. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a chunk of that metal is gone or something. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, look at that big old gouge. Boom! Something happened to this engine, boy. You can see that right there. They probably replaced all the internals or something. Looks like that may have compromised the structural integrity of the block there. It may not be a good idea to run this engine. Looks like it may have even cracked it. Or that just, no, that's the seam where it was manufactured. The two parts came together in the mold. Well, regardless, looks like the crank or something came apart, or the rod. Not the crank, I meant the rod. The rod must have came apart of the piston and hit the side of the block there and caused that big ass gouge. You can see that there. That thing's huge. Sounds like my girlfriend. Ah. Yeah, let's look at that thing. Boom, dude, that's a hideous crack, dude. I've never seen that before, man. I'm glad we're checking this thing out. What you get right there, man. It's alive right there. You get to experience it just like I do first time I've seen it. So that sucks, dude. I was planning on running this engine, but it doesn't look like it'd be a good idea to run it with that badass crack in the block. Well, it's a big ass gouge or whatever. Maybe all that metal shaving is what destroyed the compression and the pinch on it. I don't know. But it looks like the piston or the rod is fine, so maybe they just replaced the rod or something in the piston but didn't re-pinch it. I don't know, man, but you can see how bad that is. It looks like it's almost going all the way through the block almost. So that material isn't very thick. Let's see what's on the other side. Oh yeah, so here is the other side, right above that pinch bolt. So it might be real thick right there. You see how it's got that thick webbing right there, right above that pinch bolt? Let's look on the inside again. Yeah, and that's exactly where it's at. Wow. So I may have just lucked out, man. Because right there where that badass crack is from the destruction of the rod or something, right on the other side of it is where that pinch bolt is, and the webbing is like solid right there. So despite the fact that it looks like it's really deep right there, it's really not. Like, let's follow it around. Okay, so little crack. See if we can see it through the exhaust port. Not annoying at all, is it? No. Pissing me off. Can't see it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's right there. Yeah, it's right there where that pinch bolt is. Okay, let's see if I can get it on the camera without shaking and moving so much. Okay. So that badass big old bolt right there is the pinch bolt, and then that webbing right there, right on the other side of it, right on the inside, right here is where that badass crack is. So that little filled in webbing right there, that aluminum casting, might be enough to save the block. So it might be worth running it after all. That's good news. But you know, probably be better to get a new block if I could find one. Just have to buy a donor parts engine, you know. Zoom out a little bit. So it doesn't look like there's any fractures or cracks in the block here. On the outside, anyway. I'd have to take the carburetor off to get a better view. I don't really want to do that because it looks like somebody put on that lock nut thing there. I don't really like taking the carburetors and stuff off because it creates leak issues in the future. You can see how it's not actually all the way seated either. Maybe I should. The bearings still feel good, that's good. Doesn't look like they've been leaking. It's got a metal shielded bearing in the front there. I don't know what the back is. It's like a steel ball bearing or something. Anyway, that's the crank there. It'd be interesting to have it modified, you know. Modify the crank a little bit. I don't really want to take it out either because it's fitting in there so tight I can't even, like, well, I don't want to tap it out either. I'm really weird about my engines like that, you know. If they're just in there really tight like that and they don't like to just slip right out, I don't like pulling them out because I feel like it'll just cause leaks in the future. But I'm just crazy like that. Anyway, let's check out the rest of the block, man. See if we can find any more damage. What is that? It's like a little black booger right there. Just a piece of oil. Alright. Yeah, a little bit of sludge in that bearing there. Probably needs to be cleaned out, I guess. Guess that's where that black sludge came from. I don't know. Seems alright though. Feels good. Super duper smooth. And that rod pin looks good. Doesn't look like there's any damage on it that I can see. It looks like that withstained a little bit of damage there. You can see all the score marks where the rod goes. But that might actually just be advantageous. I doubt it, but just trying to think positive. In any event, I don't see any other cracks and stuff. Well, that's good. So that's cool, man. This engine might be salvageable after all. Let's clean it up a little bit. And rock and roll, man. We gotta repinch it, but whatever. Always wanted to run one of these Sirio engines. I heard they was shit. You can see how many times they scratched the head with the glow plug wrench. The engine was definitely run significantly until they killed it with the rod coming apart or something. Probably ran it too lean or something. I don't know. Let's check out the head button. It's got copper shim on there. So sick of all this lint. Looks like he gave me an old glow plug that was all burned out. Figures. I don't know why people do that. Like on eBay, they always sell all their junk. Yeah, look how old that glow plug is, all crusty and everything. But the engine came with the car, the Kyosho V1 RRR, so that was another reason why I wanted to purchase it, because this engine actually came with the kit and foam tires. So when this car was new, it didn't have this top plate or that one there. They were actually dark carbon fiber, and this is an upgraded one. But anyway, and it came with just normal size foam tires. These are some big old fatties for the Lola style cars, and I just liked them, so I put them on there. But anyway, so yeah, this engine, this Sirio, came. This was the 4th version of this car, and it came with the kit, and it was a badass kit. Anyway, this one won the 2004 Worlds and the 2008. So that's super duper exciting, man. They said it was because the ultra low center of gravity, because they laid down the chassis, the servos and stuff. You can see how they're all laid down there. It's really low center of gravity. The only thing that was high was the fuel tank, and the fuel actually doesn't weigh very much. This thing ran forever. Last time I ran it, 20 minutes, dude, on one fuel tank. It was incredible with this engine on there. And so anyway, I'm just really stoked about this car, man. I've got a really long lead here, so I can leave the battery in there without having to take it out, because it's a pain in the butt. You know, taking out those 3 screws and then putting it back in there. Anyway, it's got a Syntax clutch on there. That thing's badass. I've got another one in the box or in the bag that I want to put on the Kyosho V1 RRR that I have. Where's that car? Oh, it's over here. That's the V1 RRR. And the body is interchangeable with the RRR because the mounts are the same. So I had that one over there, and I had the wheels and tires on it as well. But this is the RRR. This was the predecessor. And this one, the clutch is a little bit different. And even it's got like mod 1 gears on there, or 0.8 mod, whatever it is. But these gears are a lot larger, so the clutch belt wouldn't work. But I was thinking that'd be cool to put it on there. Anyway, you can see how this car is significantly different. So a much higher center of gravity with that servo sticking up like that. And then that one riding up and down like that as well, as opposed to being horizontal, laid down on the side like the RRR. The differentials were also larger on this model than on the RRR. So a smaller differential front and rear on the RRR versus the RRR, which also helped with the inertia, center of gravity, and all the rest of that stuff. This is the badass engine. This one's still being broken in too. That's the s12 CVR engine. So the CV was the one that came with the red cooling head with the fins that pointed up, and the R version was the one with the blue cooling head. There's a 15 and a 12. This is the 12. But this one's still being broken in. I'm super excited about that. It's got a matching T1000 OS Max pipe on there. It's pretty cool too. So that one will be the next one I'll finish breaking in, and then we'll get some runs with this one. Compare it to the Type R. And then I've got the Mugen car as well, the Mugen variant over there. And we'll compare that one too. This is that's the Mugen variant there. Anyway, guys, this video's been long enough. I just wanted to show you this badass engine, and because I'm just super stoked about this car, man. I can't believe it. So much fun to drive. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all watching, commenting, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks for watching, y'all. Later.